Hello. Today, I'm going to talk to you about narcissistic personality disorder, obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and the workaholic narcissist. Have you ever seen a narcissist that seems to have an insatiable appetite for working? Like they are workaholics. They seem to have a bottomless pit of empty when it comes to working too much, and then they expect the people around them to work that much too. And I'm not talking about a normal workaholic, I'm talking about a workaholic narcissist. That means that that person has the traits of someone with the personality disorder. The reason why, and these are just my opinions from what I've observed, but the reason why you see that is because that narcissist also has obsessive compulsive personality disorder. So they have a comorbidity, which means that they have two personality types or two disorders existing within the same person. So the tricky part about it is that you're going to see this moral compass, which is contradictory to what we think of when we hear the word narcissism. Because when you think of a narcissist, you think of evil, you think of cruelty, meanness, no compassion, no consciousness. And yet, when you see these workaholic types, you are going to see something that looks like morality. These are very high functioning narcissists, so they're generally very educated. They're going to rise to the top of their companies and organizations, or they're going to have some type of leadership position in whatever organization that they're a part of. I've seen two types of these workaholic narcissists: the ones that exploit everyone and they expect those people to be their extensions. You are my arms, you are my legs, you are doing all the work for me as I come up with thousands of impossible things for the amount of people that I have doing the things. I have seen this type push people to mental breakdowns, literally, and they don't care. They just want you to hurry back so they can continue to misuse and abuse you. And then there's the type that they're going to get in the trenches with everybody. They're going to be working really, really hard as well because they also have a complex that they don't want to be seen as weak or incapable, and you better not imply that unwittingly or unintentionally, or they're going to come after you. That piece right there is the obsessive compulsive personality disorder speaking, because those people are reluctant to delegate tasks or to work with others unless they submit to exactly his or her way of doing things, which might make them appear to be less userish. Now imagine a narcissist with a checks and balance system that is built into their heads. It's because they have obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and some of them may even have plain old OCD. And this component drives them crazy because they're going to always have this piece of them that makes them feel that they're inadequate, that they're not doing enough, that they're not working hard enough, that they should be doing more than what they're doing. Now, some of them you can give a compliment to and they eat it up, they love it. And then there are others of them who can't handle the compliment because it reminds them of how inadequate they are. The OCD makes them question every action that they make. Is it right enough? When you wonder which personality disorder is coming forth, this is basically the obsessive compulsive personality disorder asking, am I satisfying the narcissist? Because the narcissist is going to have impossibly high standards. Because in this narcissist, you're going to see OCPD traits, which is a pervasive pattern of preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and mental and interpersonal control at the expense of flexibility, openness, and efficiency. The person is over conscientious, which is something that you may not see on a narcissist. So within this workaholic narcissist, you're going to see someone who's obsessed with control and rules, and they can become very fixated. And that's because they believe that those rules and rituals keep them from getting hurt. But sometimes this fear of getting hurt is perceived out of their own warped perspective. This person can also become enraged when they feel like they've lost control. So pair this with a narcissistic rage, and you can have a really tough person. But at the same time, I think that OCD, it softens the person in one way and it gives them a sense of morality even if they don't have any. But it can also, in other ways, make the person even more difficult to deal with. Because if you step outside of that person's rules, they're going to go off on you. These people tend to excel at work and school because of their devotion to those rules. However, sometimes that lack of flexibility can also cause them a lot of problems. You can even see a hoarding component on some of them where they can't throw items away. So really the OCD is the superego and the narcissist is the id. So that superego can make some of them be incredibly truthful even at some of their own shortcomings. So it goes back to that OCD that they're not completing some things because their overly strict standards are not met. So it's kind of like, well, how can you get me on this? Because I'm telling you that I didn't do it. And most people are not going to be confrontational with this workaholic narcissist because they can be vicious. Because there's a deficit in the personality, they're gonna be difficult to deal with. So the rules tell them to be kind and be polite, but if you want to trigger the narcissist in them, then show compassion. If something tragic happens to somebody, you're going to see the compassion drop because they're not going to care. They're going to want the person to get over it because they don't want to feel sad for the person. And there's also something about giving that sort of attention to another human being that's not themselves that they're not going to want to do. They never grasp the concept of what sadness is. If pressed, they may claim to have compassion fatigue, which is when someone has been overly exposed to working with people in trauma or crisis. So with the narcissist, they could use that as an excuse, but truth is, they never had compassion at all. In fact, the workaholic narcissist can detest people that they deem bottom of the barrel. For example, a person with lots of problems, like the person is having health issues, they're having house issues, their personal lives are falling apart. They don't care if those things are out of the person's control. They can really hate those people. They can hate people that they feel are useless to them. And they can also become envious of people, of someone that they deem as beautiful or better looking than them. They can show their wrath towards that person. One mistake and they hate you. And that mistake could be something that you do to flub something up at work that's really not that big of a deal, or it could be because you confronted them on their faulty belief and that's it. They have immediately gone from valuing you to devaluing you. Basically, you're in the stupid category now. So the narcissists, they're going to want what they want. That's what that where that id comes in, and they're going to be happy because they get what they want out of people, even if it means that they're exploiting you or they're exploiting the system. So where do these two personality disorders merge? They can be very literal, so it's hard to rationalize with them about certain things. Their point of view is distorted, have this set of rules that they're going by. So don't challenge those. The nice narcissist is called the admiration seeking narcissist and the rivalry narcissist. Both of them fit narcissistic personality disorder criteria, but the admiration seeking one is going to be more charming. They're going to act with a high level of self assuredness. They're going to be assertive. They're going to be viewed as positive. They're going to want to be admired from other people. And what they're doing leads to positive social outcomes. They tend to be liked and looked at as attractive by the people that count. So they're going to have a very high chance of being promoted by the people that count. This type can be malicious and manipulative because they'll be showing one face to one set of people while destroying, tearing down, and berating the people who they're using or who they're envious of. Now, the other type of narcissist is the rivalry narcissist. This one is going to present in a very negative way. This is the one that people run from. They don't want to ask them anything because these people seek revenge. They can be arrogant, condescending, aggressive, hostile. They are protecting themselves by putting people down and making them feel bad about themselves. So it helps them to have a more positive point of view for themselves. Even though people may admire the workaholic narcissist, people really have a very difficult time working with them, and they're going to make you feel pretty miserable. I could call them the bottomless pit of empty narcissists because to me it's like they are a trash can that is empty and they need to fill it all the way up to the brim, and there's a lot to fill because there's deficits in the personality. So they don't have the same things in place like everybody else. They're not dealing with the compassion. They're not dealing with the ethics and the morals in the same way. They might not care about spending quality time with their spouse or their children because that's not filling up their ego in the way that they need it to be filled. And on top of working 100-hour weeks, they may also have several activities that they do outside the workplace. So they're gonna fill themselves and you to the brim. They're also gonna do some things the hard way to fill up more time because what they don't want to be left with is emptiness. They don't want to ever have not enough to do because then that means that they're going to be left with their own minds, which is going to remind them of how worthless they really are. And most people don't need that level of work in order to feel complete. They can become completely irrational about things that to someone else would be like dropping one piece of confetti on the floor. You made them look bad in front of all these people with that dot of confetti. So now I'm going to go ballistic. We're going to have 100 meetings. They want to master perfectionism. Now, here's the kicker about these people. They can be phenomenal when it comes to building the best organizations. They know how to build success because they have a stamina. They can withstand pressure better than the normal person. So it's an irony. I almost hate saying that someone who is so vicious and mean and cruel builds such amazing and incredible entities. If you feel like videos like these would be helpful to people out there, then hit the thumbs up button. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for watching Tam Psych Advice. See you next time. Bye.